Alrighty, for our next topic, we're going to be talking about the NFL free agency, specifically two teams. One is the greatest team in the world, and the other is the shittiest team in the world. We're going to be talking about the Chargers. What are they doing in free agency? That's a big question. They just released one of our best wide receivers in Keenan Allen for a fourth-round pick, which I'm not going to lie, I was sad and upset. Really
Well,
upset.
you just call them the greatest team in the world, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That didn't win a Super Bowl, so
It's okay. We will get there. But Chargers, I don't know. I'm just in disbelief, shocked with these certain moves. It's like how Jerry Jones said it last year. We're going all in for this free agency, and I haven't seen crap shit from both teams, realistically.
Hey, one thing regarding Allen though, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't the Chargers give up Allen due to a salary cap or due to salary
Yeah,
cap
well,
constraints?
so Keenan
So
Allen talked to the press today, or he talked to I don't know where he talked.
he wanted to retire there, right? Like,
No. Pretty much, he said he had the best season of his life, supposedly,
okay,
last season. So he did not want to get a pay cut. He wanted to get the bag. So that's why he got traded to the Bears, because I'm pretty sure the Bears have money and they're going to give him that money that he wants. But realistically, you're 31. You're 31, right? You're almost, closer to retiring. I feel like that kind of bothered me what he said, just because you should have been in your prime, in your mid-20s, right? Am I wrong? Carlos, you're a football guy.
I believe so.
Right, mid-20s, around there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Danny, but bro, you cannot hate on a guy for wanting to get paid, especially when he's basically put the organization on his back in LA, in San Diego, and in LA. So
Okay.
he's just trying to earn his back. I mean, dude, you hear the players say all the time, it's a business, right? And what happens to players most of the time? They use it,
Yeah, you're right.
they
But,
start
dude,
dipping in production, and get out of here. We don't want you. Cut you, trade you. So I can't really hate on Keenan Allen for just saying, you know what? I'm 31. I'm getting older, and I deserve this money. He had a really good year last year.
he did. But this comes back in general in sports. If you really want the bag, you should at least take the team to a final, or you got to take the team far until you get the bag. Nowadays in sports, you do well one season, regardless if you don't win the championship or whatever, and you get the bag. I feel like that's not how it works.
but how far can a wide receiver actually take his team like that? Like when the Chargers doesn't seem like they even want to help each other. Like they don't even like last season it was just Keenan Allen doing most of the work, right? Like most of the heavy lifting. So it's like he can only do so much, and at 31 years of age, it's kind of difficult, to have another season like that. And like you're saying, if you're going with with what you're saying is just yeah, I don't think he could have done much if the Chargers themselves don't want to help each other out, and we've seen it clearly in what the Chargers are doing in this free agency,
They're not
which
doing jack
is
shit.
nothing.
They're
Exactly.
not doing jack. So here's our wide receiver room. I want you guys to hear this, because we want Justin Herbert to obviously be successful with the Chargers. We don't want him to leave the Chargers. But before I before I tell you guys who are our wide receivers, there's a rumor out there that the Chargers want to trade Justin Herbert to the Vikings. So Jimbo, our coach, gets J.J. McCarthy in the draft. That's the rumor. If that happens, I'm done with the Chargers. Okay, here's the wide receiver room that we have right now. Darius Davis, who the fuck is that guy? Quentin Johnson, who can't catch for shit, and Joshua Palmer, who's injury prone. Oh, and our tight end, whose name is... Give me a sec. Oh, Will Disley. Who the fuck is that? I don't even know who the fuck that guy is.
Sounds like a science teacher.
Seriously. We got rid of Mike Williams. Well, we released Mike Williams. We got rid of Austin Eckler to free agency. He signed with the Commanders. And we just got rid of Keenan Allen. We signed Gus Edwards, who had possibly the best season last year with the Ravens, but just our offense is dog crap.
So if you could say maybe one person that would potentially be like, we fucking need this player offensively, could you say someone right now?
Yes, Keenan. Well, like, what do you mean by
yeah. Obviously, you can't say Keenan Allen. He signed to the Bears, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like, is there someone in that can possibly, is maybe going to be is a free agent right now, or is someone that could potentially be like just fucking game changing for the Chargers in terms of their offense, like someone that we fucking should, that your team should target?
As much as I don't like to say this, but Odell. I think Odell's a game changer.
Really?
Yes, he is. He really is. What did he do in the Super Bowl? If it wasn't for that injury, he should have been the MVP. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos.
Indeed.
He was popping off that Super Bowl. Once he got hurt, it was obviously Cooper Kupp.
But he's 31.
I mean, yeah, but he's just a great wide receiver. I mean, yeah, you're right, but he's a great wide receiver. And I think he would help the Chargers a lot. But the Chargers, if we would have kept Keenan Allen, looked for a great wide receiver in the draft, we would have been set. But obviously, Keenan Allen literally came out today, said, I came off the best season. I want to get paid, so that's why I didn't do it. I didn't want to reconstruct my contract. Pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing we can do. It happened. It was obviously breaking news, but our offense is not good. Moving on to the new season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do that trade. Like, it's just, I see it happening. So I really hope we do get a good wide receiver in the draft. I mean, it's not going to happen, though. But we have the 5th pick, right?
Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe? Maybe he falls to you guys.
I don't think so, though. I don't see it. He's going to get picked, like, 2nd or 3rd. But besides that, yeah. It's just Chargers are not looking good for this new upcoming season.
I think Danny said pretty much everything you could say. Does anyone else have any opinions on it before we go on to the next one?
It's just frustrating. Go ahead, Lego. It's just frustrating.
You had mentioned that they are thinking of trading Justin Herbert to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, that's the rumor that I saw.
I had never heard that, actually, and it would be one of the most bizarre things ever. I think Justin Herbert, from where he's came from, playing college ball at Oregon, to the transition to the NFL, the guy is like this. He's a beast. Like, he really gained my respect in the NFL. And the only reason I would say you trade him, if you're the Chargers, the only reason is if you're gonna tell me you're gonna get Justin Jefferson in return, which the Vikings are not gonna give you Justin Jefferson. That's the only reason you guys would trade him. And you're not gonna get Justin Jefferson in return.
No, we'll probably get draft picks and like mid players or decent players.
So going on to that point, talking about what receivers you have, your 2 top receivers right now are Quentin Johnson and Joshua Palmer. Quentin Johnson caught 38 receptions for 431 yards last season, 2 touchdowns. He played in the full 17 games. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Like, he does not give me good vibes. He does not give me good vibes. Spending a 1st-round draft pick on a guy to come in and be tied for 113th in receptions, be 101st for yards, and then be tied for 113th in touchdowns in the league. That doesn't speak well in his first year. And then Joshua Palmer last season, 38 receptions, 587 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, that's not going to cut it in the NFL. If you guys want Justin Herbert to perform at his highest capacity, you got to give him someone to throw the ball to. Like, it's unfair otherwise to say, oh, well, why didn't this guy throw for 4,000 yards and 20 touchdowns? Well, maybe it's because he doesn't have a good supporting cast around him. Like, maybe you should look at that first. Will Dissly, the starting tight end you guys have for next season, his stats for last season were 17 receptions, 172 yards, a touchdown. But by ESPN, that's not even ranked. That's like 150 plus ranked. So there's going to be definitely some areas where the Chargers need to address. In free agency, most of the free agents I would say have dried up for the most part for wide receiver, tight end. You guys could also potentially draft a tight end from Georgia, Brock Bowers. I saw a couple of his games in college, and he's a stud. I think he's a stud.
He did say he wanted to go to a specific team. I don't know if you caught that on. I did see an interview. He wants to go to a specific team. I forgot what team.
All I'm saying for your fifth pick, you guys are drafting fifth in this draft. You guys, I think you're pretty okay on defense.
We just picked up the guy from Seattle, Poon Ford. He's a defensive end or
defensive tackle. Yes, nose tackle, defensive tackle, something like that.
Yeah.
So I do think your defense is going to be strong next year. Offensive line, mid, but you need someone to help Justin Herbert out. Like, he can't throw the ball to Quentin Johnson and expect 1,000 receiving yards, or Joshua Palmer, or Will Disley. You guys need to help him. And if you guys can figure that part out, have a really good draft maybe, then the team starts looking good all around, because I think your defense is there already.
I will say this before we move on to the Cowgirls. Quentin Johnson, yes, he's a sketch, but I feel like this is going to be his breakout season. So I'm going to give him one more chance. I feel like this is going to be his breakout season, and it has to be his breakout season. It has to be. Regarding our offensive line, I believe the Chargers do want to go for an offensive line pick, but I don't know. I was looking into it, which, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. And then we do want to go for that running back from Michigan, but we'll see. We'll see.
Now that you say running back, I will say Gus Edwards going to be a Los Angeles Charger. That's a really good low key addition. I don't think Gus Edwards got as much credit as he should have in Baltimore because he plays with Lamar Jackson, but he's going to come to LA Chargers and he's going to be the lead back.
100%.
And he's going to eat in that offense because he's coming off a career year. You mentioned earlier 110 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. 13 touchdowns. That's impressive. So
it is impressive. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a really good addition in my opinion.
And again, Chargers need help in the run game with run, pass protection, and run in general. So we'll see how that works out. Now let's go move on to your team, America's team.
Let's go ahead and move on to the greatest team in the NFL history, the Dallas Cowboys.
What did Jerry Jones say before their season ended against the Packers? Next year for free agency, we're going all in.
He said we're going all in, and at this point, I've heard him and I've heard his son like trying to come out and say, "Oh, well, by all in we meant this or we meant that," and it is what it is. So far in free agency, Cowboys are not doing much. The only addition they've had is Eric Kendricks
from the Chargers, right?
Chargers, yeah, he came from the Chargers. Uh-huh. And before he signed with the Chargers, he was with the Vikings. And I remember when he was a free agent, I wanted him coming to the Cowboys then. So you guys picked him up, and I was like, okay, all right, whatever. But I'm pretty actually stoked that now he became a free agent. He's coming to our team. It's like about time he came over here.
So he only signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers, then, right?
Yeah, he just signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers, and he just signed a 1-year deal with the Cowboys too.
Okay. Let's see where he's testing free agency for next year as well. Maybe he resigns. But my question to you, Carlos, and Josh. Obviously, breaking news, Justin Fields got traded to Pittsburgh Steelers. Why didn't Jerry Jones go for Justin Fields and get rid of Dak Prescott?
I'm surprised that didn't happen, though, honestly.
Do you think it was because... Sorry to cut you off, Carlos. Do you think it was because of his contract?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's getting like $55 million, right?
And let's just say, what if Justin Fields goes to the Dallas Cowboys and he balls the fuck out? I'm pretty sure, Jerry Jones would be like, nah, because we got Dak Prescott. And they got Trey Lance, too.
Oh, yeah, keep it. Yeah, I forgot about Trey Lance. Yeah, that's right. You're right, Carlos.
And everybody's on the free market next season. Michael Parsons. Who else?
CeeDee Lamb.
Zach Martin too. I'm like, oof, someone's gonna get paid, and
Do you think if the trade happened, obviously it did not. Obviously, Justin Fields is a Steeler, but if they did go for that trade, do you think Justin Fields is a game changer for the Dallas Cowboys and can make a run for the Super Bowl if that trade happened?
yes, but well, Danny, there's a difference between going to the Super Bowl and winning one.
You're
He can
right.
go,
Yes.
but is he gonna win? I don't know. He's never been in that type of pressure since his college days. But like, you know what I mean?
No, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. But my question is, would he make a difference maker with the Cowboys if he landed there
I believe so.
with the weapons that he has?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I think.
I think we can all agree Dak does not deserve to get paid $60 million a year.
That's crazy, bro.
I swear, I thought it was 55 million.
No, dude, it's like 59.5 or something like that. It's like
That's
right at
crazy,
60.
bro.
It's like what has he done?
So you prefer like Justin Fields, if that was the case, right? If he didn't get signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers, you would have preferred Justin Fields 100%, especially right now without Tony Pollard. And since Justin Fields has that ability to run, and you know, like we saw with what he was doing with the Bears, you would have preferred Fields over Dak?
Of course, just because then that would have meant the Bears would have taken over Dak Prescott's contract. So we would have had so much more in cap space. We could have signed another defensive end, or we could have signed another linebacker, another offensive tackle, because we just lost Tyron Smith to the Jets. So we don't even. I mean, we lost our starting center too, Biadasz, to the Commanders. So it's like there's so many other holes that we have to fill. And if we had been able to unload Dak Prescott's contract, which also there's a no trade clause in his contract, so he's basically untradeable unless he says, okay, I'm willing to be traded. And yeah, I would have done it in a heartbeat. I would have traded him for Justin Fields in a heartbeat. Fortunately, that's not going to be the case. We're going to probably be stuck with him for who knows how else longer. And we're going to be paying him $60 million a year to take us to the wild card or maybe the divisional game and just restart all over again next year.
Get your hopes up. Pretty much get your hopes up. So, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. All right.
No,
Well,
go ahead.
just really quick, I was going to ask you, Leko, the same question. I'm asking you because obviously it's your team. But the same question I asked Danny, which is, like, who do they need to sign, you know, for the Cowboy fans to be like, okay, you know, it made up for it. Or is it too late? Like Carlos is probably about to say, right?
It's too late, in my opinion. It's too late.
Why do you say
like
it's
everyone
too late?
says, like I thought, and then like when the whole season was over, I was like, damn, Derrick Henry with a star on his helmet would be pretty tight. And
Well, sorry, Carlos, did you hear that the Cowboys never called?
yes, that's another thing too.
And Henry was
really
waiting for that call.
I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I saw that. I'm like, wow, y'all fumbled again.
Well, the Cowboys pretty much have almost the same team. Obviously, they released players. They signed only one, which is crazy. But do you think the Cowboys are the weakest team in the NFC East?
No shot. No shot. I don't believe they're the weakest team. I'd have to give that honor to I give it to the Giants. I'll give it to the Giants just because like they lost Saquon Barkley and they also lost McKinney to the Packers. The state
Overpaid. Yeah, he overpaid.
Yeah, I mean overpaid or whatnot, but like they've lost key starters, and I think even Darren Waller, their starting tight end, doesn't even know what he's going to do. He's like unsure if he wants to come play football again for the Giants or just retire. Who when healthy, he's one of the best tight ends there is in the NFL, and they traded the Raiders for him a couple seasons ago because they expect to get some production out of him. He hasn't really done much. So I would say the Giants have the most figuring out to do still. And obviously they lost Saquon Barkley, as I mentioned. And
so who wins so now that you said the Giants are the weakest in the NFC East, who wins the East?
If the Cowboys, here's the thing about the Cowboys. The way the Cowboys are setting themselves up, they have to have a really successful NFL draft. They have to. Because they have so many holes on the team that they're just betting on like going all out on the NFL draft and hitting every single pick, or at least, I don't know, let's say 80% of their picks, which historically the Cowboys do draft pretty well. But that's yet to be. Danny, what was your exact question again?
Who wins the East? Who wins the NFC East?
Okay, well, assuming that the Cowboys can hit on all their picks or most of their picks, I'm gonna say they will win the NFC East. If
Wow.
they don't, then the Eagles. The
Okay.
Eagles. I would also say the Eagles, though. I feel like the Eagles aren't. I mean, I don't think they're that good, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a Cowboys fan. But Jalen Hurts, I've always said it. Like he's always been a mid quarterback. He hasn't shown me anything otherwise. Showed it last season towards the end of the year when he kind of just like didn't show up, and they ended up losing to the Tampa Bay Bucks in the playoffs. I mean that.
Well, I know we're kind of getting a little sidetracked, but I'll just say that he was hurt.
Okay.
He was
But
injured. That's just my opinion. Obviously, injuries you don't perform at your very best, but that was just. And Dak Prescott was healthy, and he threw how many picks, Carlos? You know the game. How many picks did he throw?
2.
2. Oof. That must hurt. That must hurt. Josh, any
yeah,
last
you know,
comments? Or go ahead, like.
again, as a Cowboys fan here, right? The Cowboys are so stuck, and this is an issue that goes back to Jerry Jones. Once they draft someone, they're so stuck on this idea of this person has to be what we expected. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round draft pick for a reason. Like that's just being straight out facts. He played at Mississippi State, and he was a 4th-round draft pick for a reason. And there's some games where, he'll have really good games against the Giants, against the Commanders, against the Eagles. But then there's other games, like I'm just talking about last year, like the Bills, for example, or the 49ers, or the Packers, where
Or
you
the
play,
Cardinals.
or the Cardinals, right? Where you play against a pretty good, or the Dolphins, where you play against a really good team. And where is he? The 4th rounder in him is coming out.
Right.
And is that worth $60 million? Heck no. Heck no, it's not. But again, I mean, we don't really have any other options. At this point, Jerry Jones, quote unquote, has to be right. And
But he's not.
if he wants this team to go far at this point, it's like, well, shoot, might as well run it back because I don't know what other quarterbacks out there you're going to be able to get.
I will say this. I feel like this season, if it's not successful, I think you'll lose Micah Parsons next season. That's just me.
That'd be crazy.
Not only him and CeeDee Lamb.
No, dude, I would say CeeDee Lamb walks before Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons, like, dude, like, there's no way they let him walk.
Well, we'll see. Josh, any last comments or input?
No, I'm just curious to see what happens with the Cowboys, and hopefully, pray that they make that big move just for you, like, going. Hopefully, you guys get something that you guys can look forward to for the upcoming season instead of just watching another, Dakisha quarterback just show, which. But yeah, other than that, no, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with the Chargers with this upcoming NFL season and with the Cowboys. I mean, I've told my friends I'm looking forward for the draft for the Chargers, just like you like us. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we made kind of early predictions of where the Cowboys are going to stand, where the Chargers are going to stand. So we'll see what happens.